Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are we rock and rolling? I think we are. I think we're rock and rolling. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing well. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Hey, hey, hey. All good in the hood, all good in the hood. Welcome, everyone. Happy days. Let's get ready for first weekend, first session of a triple header that is on the way, eh? First session of a triple header. Evening from Asia. Evening, buddy. Good to see you, Frenzy. Minty, good to see you. Daisy, good to see the regular faces, as always. Yes, much appreciated. We are live. And yes, I'm currently on my lunch break. So... Hey, Anne, I'm doing very well, thank you. Hope you are too. Wicked. Not sub, but has to be the best live F1 channel. You're not subscribed, Barrack? Unbelievable. What? Why haven't you subscribed already, man? You should subscribe. What are my predictions for the race, Minty? Oh, too early to say. Too early to say. As always, though, I think that the usual suspects, McLaren, Red Bull, Max Verstappen. As we're approaching the start of FP1, really, for this weekend, while teams have brought some upgrades, some more than others, some I need to look into, to be honest with you, because I haven't really kept up to date with too much that's happened in the last week in F1. Been very busy myself outside of all of this. But yes, it's a track, Imola, that is like Monaco 2.0, which is funny because we're going to Monaco next week. It's all about qualifying. Now, we do have the C6 tyre here this week. I wanted to do a preview stream last night, but I didn't get around to doing it. But yes, we have the softest compounder tyres available to us here this weekend. The C6 for the first time ever, the C5 and C4. So we have no idea, neither do the teams. Thank you, Paul. We have no idea what's going to happen. Really? We have no idea what's going to happen as FP1 does get underway with those tyres. There are some saying that we may see the medium tyre used in qualifying because technically that's the soft tyre of last year, but who knows? It's an unknown, but hopefully it spices things up. Hey Lee, this is your birthday, you have a cider and we go racing. Hey, 46th birthday. 46 years young, Lee. 46 years young. Hope you have a good one, mate. Alonso has a good track record here. See how they get on in the Aston Martin. Yes, well, unfortunately for Alonso fans, if you are an Alonso fan, there are upgrades. There are upgrades to the Aston Martin this weekend. But they're only on Lance Stroll's car. So Alonso has still got the crappy dark green tractor that is the Aston Martin at the moment. So don't expect a lot from Alonso. It is a track where the driver can make more of a difference, though. It is a driver's track. But, yeah, the Aston Martin is just clearly very slow at the moment. What are my Ferrari predictions? I don't know. I just don't see them making any improvements. I just saw Sky Sports and they've got a few different upgrades or updates to their car. They're not upgrades until they actually do improve the car, but... yeah, it's not looking too good at the moment for them. I don't expect them to make much headway here. Maybe fighting the Mercedes, but we've seen that Mercedes, as we saw in Miami, be really good. It's all going to really depend on how, these drivers, these teams here at Imola, how they fare on the softest compounds of tyre. But we saw in Miami, in Saudi, that really the teams that are best on the softest compounds are still Red Bull and McLaren. However, if it is hotter temperatures, then the Red Bull is still struggling with that thermal degradation, which of course has opened up the discussion of McLaren's brakes, which we mentioned here a while ago. It seems to be a very big topic of conversation at the moment, but if you're if you're a regular listener and viewer of this channel, you'll know that I mentioned that a while ago, and they did so on the Missed Apex podcast as well. So yes, but really come to the forefront of the news because there wasn't really too much to discuss, was there, other than Alpine. Hey Sam, I'm usually on YouTube. Yeah, I'm multi-streaming now to Twitch, guys. So if you prefer to go and be over on Twitch, that's entirely your prerogative. But yeah, I'm going to start streaming more so on Twitch as well. Best upgrade to Aston would be the ejection seat. Hey Dan, good to see you, mate. Hey Antonio, Ferrari's going to let you down again. Well, yeah, in front of the Tifosi, it is like their second home race, isn't it? So, as I'm just watching Lewis Hamilton go around the track at the moment. So if those of you don't know, because this may look like my this is so seamless, but there is, you can't tell from this angle, but I have completely moved the sim rig. The setup has been removed from my co-host's room. So I am now in the front room. So I now no longer need my phone here. I've got the big TV to my left that I can keep up to date of replays and so forth. And yeah, I'm no longer bound by her sleep schedule. So yes, more sim racing and more content coming your way, guys. We did that in the past week. So yeah, which my back didn't thank me for. You reckon Leclerc might have a decent qualifying? Yeah, I mean, look, it is a track. Qualifying is going to be so important. So even if you have a bit of a slow car, track position's key. It's going to be like Suzuka again. I really hope it isn't, but I am really much kind of predicting. Actually, I'm not predicting maybe as bad as Suzuka. I am predicting, hopefully, those soft compound tyres do spruce up the race. However, what we are going to see here, unfortunately, at Imola, it's always a one-stop here because it's the longest pit lane on the calendar. So I can't remember exactly how many seconds it is. It's nearly, I think it's pushing 30 seconds for a pit stop lost time. So the teams will set up their cars to be in a way that they can look after their tyres long enough so that they only have to manage a one-stop race in normal racing conditions. So unfortunately, what we're probably going to see is, I mean, look, the C6 is being used now, the soft compound tyre, but we're probably going to see the hard compound tyre used and maintained by these teams over the weekend in practice sessions, and the mediums as well. But incident involving Leclerc and Alonso impeding. So yeah, that's the thing. But rain, I don't know what the weather is for this weekend. What was the weather report for this weekend? Weather, Imola. I think it was forecast to be rain, but I think it's been pushed back out to Tuesday now. So it looks like we're going to get a dry race weekend. With the tourist boring Monaco next week. I know, Lee, I know. Really though, like, Monaco was my most viewed watch-along last year. As much as it is, I guess, it still intrigues a lot of people. It still intrigues a lot of race fans and just general fans. Everyone knows Monaco. So, yeah, YouTube is pushing it. Of course, I'm in YouTube's latest video on their own channel. If you haven't checked that out, guys, I thought that was really cool. The video itself is not quite to my taste, but I do make an appearance when they talk about the best commentary on YouTube. Bosh, there I am, straight in. So go check that out, show us some love. How am I doing, Murray? I'm doing very well. I'm very much looking forward to the weekend. No further investigation for Charles Leclerc and Alonso impeding here. So yeah, it is a track that is very tight. That's why overtaking is quite difficult here as well. So yeah, I mean, last year you really need. We've seen this year how much dirty air plays a factor. So it's yeah, we've seen how much dirty air plays a factor here. Or just in general, and especially here, you need quite a significant tyre delta. So tyre strategy is going to be important over the week, well, for Sunday in particular, and we'll see how the teams are able to manage that. Thank you for the follow, Frenzy Reaper on Twitch as well. Thank you. You think Williams is currently better than Ferrari? I mean, they were in Miami, weren't they? They definitely were in Miami. Lewis Hamilton goes fastest in the middle sector. A driver, though, I think there's a couple of drivers I think to keep an eye out on here this weekend. One in particular, of course, I think is Colapinto, making his return, of course, to F1 after Jack Doohan being replaced, which everyone kind of knew and could see coming. But yeah, I see all you guys jumping over to Twitch and dropping us a follow. Thank you, guys. Yeah, he's someone who only has 5 races, which I think is also ridiculous for him to try and impress. But Tsunoda is someone to keep an eye on here this weekend. Now, if you're unfamiliar, he's done a number of practice laps here because of in his AlphaTauri days, his RB days. This was their home track. This is where they would come and do their testing. So this is a track that I expect Yuki to do well at and maybe outperform what is capable in that Red Bull. Luna, what are you doing? Get off the PC. I have to do this the first time I'm streaming, eh? Say hello, and then go. See? Recording error. Just happens to come up as you... That's because you knocked my USB out. Unbelievable. Streaming isn't always easy, guys. Not... Are you on Baby and Catchy? No, she's alright. She just needs to... Hey Russ, been 5 months? Where you been, man? Where you been? Franz Hermann Pohl. Have I heard of him? I have heard of him, yes. Be interested to see what Monaco is like next year after the car size is reduced. Yes, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what it's like. I still don't... My expectations of Monaco are always very low. Look, even when the cars were smaller, we very rarely saw a lot of overtakes. But what we do have this year to try and spruce things up is... We've got 2 mandatory pit stops. So that's the only thing to really look forward to in Monaco. Of course, last year, the reason why it was so boring is because we had that early red flag and they were able to make that mandatory tyres change, that pit stop in the red flag conditions and went all the way to the end. So that's why last year was extremely boring by Monaco standards. So yeah, hope we're not going to get that this year unless we get 2 red flags in convenient times. Did I say the cat? Luna, yeah, I think Luna's a very popular name for pets, so. You're a 9-year-old F1 fan now. You're 10. Oh, wow. Wicked, Rust. Lando going fastest in the middle, in the first and second sector. Obviously, a lot of these drivers trying to figure out what these C6 tyres can do. But it's very sunny in Imola at the moment. So the cars look very nice. I do like Imola. I do very much like Imola. It's a lovely racetrack, isn't it? It's just a shame that it doesn't provide great racing. That's the only thing. But as an actual track to drive around, it's brilliant. Like in the sim, that's my only experience of driving around Imola. But I think the drivers also kind of feel the same. Same as like Monaco, isn't it, really? Nightbot first kill of the weekend. Hey, Tucker, good to see you, mate. Hey, Dusko, good to see you. Which ones will be the best ones? Oh, I need to... So I've been quite busy with work. I've shifted around the whole flat setup. We've been really, really busy making better use of our flat space. So yeah, the whole setup has been moved to the front room now. I know it doesn't look like it, but it is. And yeah, we've been prepping other things in real life, so I haven't had a lot of time to actually keep up to date on all the updates that are here this weekend. I will do some research between now and FP2 to try and see what they've got. The only thing I saw is that Ferrari have only a few updates, so they've got a change to their the rear beam wing, some inlets, some winglets, to the rear wheels. That's about it, to be honest with you. I think I heard that Mercedes have got a change to their front wing. Red Bull, I saw that they've got a new side pod change. So yeah, I need to drum up on it. I'll do some research and I'll have a look. Imola's very enjoyable in WC. Yeah, that was a good race. I saw the highlights of that. My top 3 for quali and for the race, Arnold. I'm going to be boring and just go... I think the 2 McLarens and Max, I think it's going to be real close between them again. Now, I do say, however, the McLarens are still evidently the fastest car. They are the fastest car, and their drivers are not maximising their car at the moment. They should easily be 2 to 3 tenths quicker than Max in every single quali session or when it comes to like pole position, but they're not. And Max is making them rue their mistakes and forcing them to get that inch perfect lap, which they're not. Neither of them have really been able to do, but Max has been able to in that Red Bull. And of course, this is a track where if you allow those McLarens to get out up front, and yeah, you're just going to see them drive off into the distance, to be honest with you. Shout out to the mods. Yes, Max. Good to see you, by the way, buddy. Yes, shout out to the mods. They're doing an amazing job here, so thank you guys as always. Which F1 season do you recommend you should watch, since you're kind of new as an F1 fan? This one. No, there's a few different F1 seasons you could watch. You could go back and watch maybe 2012, because there was a varying amount of race winners, and it was very competitive. Alonso versus Sebastian Vettel for the championship. You could go and look at 2016, when Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg fought each other. That was a very hard-fought championship. Nico Rosberg eventually won, but yeah, that was a very highly contested championship between the two of them. Max Verstappen's first race win in Barcelona as well. And then, of course, 2021 as well. 2021 for the drama. The actual race in itself was maybe, questionable. But yeah, those are the ones that I think you could go back and look at. 2008 as well. 2009? Well, 2008 and 2009. Both of those were very good championships. There you go. Yeah, just follow Lightning Speed's one there, yeah. But yeah, YouTube, F1 on YouTube has a number of great highlights packages. I was watching the other day, actually, they were doing the 24-hour race or 24-hour stream of like old race highlights and stuff, celebrating 75 years of F1. So yeah, that was cool to watch while I was at work. Thank you, Alan. Hope you're doing well, buddy. But yeah, they've got this year. They've got, what have they got? Goodwood Festival of Speed, which I'm going to on the Sunday. They've got 85 F1 cars there to celebrate F1's 75 years of F1. So that's going to be mega. So I'm looking forward to going there, filming some content for you all. Actually, love the channel. Love the channel. Anyway, I can watch. Only way you can watch as Love the Live Data takes me back to work in Pit Lane GT. Oh, thank you, Ashley. Do you know what? I can't watch F1 on TV anymore, like just video coverage. It makes me realise how little amount of data you actually get, and how you don't see the full picture of a race on TV. Like, of course, we all want to see live images. I get it, but I actually don't miss TV coverage anymore. I watch F1 through track map and through live data, because you just get a full picture of what is actually happening in the race. Can Aston make points here? They have brought many upgrades. Only 2 Lance Stroll's car, from what I read. So yeah, Lance Stroll is the only one who has upgrades or updates on their car this weekend. So Alonso is still stuck with the old car, which hasn't been quick, is it? So I'm the only one I watch. Thank you, Lee. You got to do your job. Well, we still got one later on this afternoon. We've still got another one. I mean, I'm going back to work after this. I'm on my lunch break, so I'm doing this. I won't be able to stick around and chat once practice ends, guys, but we'll be back in a few hours' time, of course, for FP2, and of course for every session over the weekend. So be sure to tune in for those. How hard has it become? How hard is it to become an F1 aero engineer? I imagine quite hard, because there's only 20 F1 teams across the world, and a lot of them are based in the UK. I'm not in that space in engineering, so I don't know. But I imagine obviously it's quite a tight-knit industry, isn't it? But I mean, LinkedIn, I've been getting LinkedIn messages. I don't know why, because I'm not in that industry. But I've been getting messages that McLaren are hiring, Red Bull are hiring. Like, there's lots of roles that are available, of course, always posted. But whether you're the man or woman for the job is down to them, isn't it? Ferrari has a few updates, Georgian. Yeah, not a lot, though. Not a lot. Mostly to the rear of the car. Which is where, actually, they've been struggling. They've been struggling with the rear. So, and particularly the ride height. Even Alexander. Oscar for champion. Well, he's currently got, what, a 16-point lead, I think it was, over Lando. We calculated as Bortoletto goes into P2. So this is the question here, guys, this weekend. We are on the softest compound tyre available, the C6, a new compound for this year. Ultimately, it's an ultra-soft tyre. Think of it that way. And it's only going to be used at circuits where, like, we see very low deg. So Imola is one where we see... Monaco is another one. We're going to see it, I think, at Canada as well. So to try and spruce up the strategy, to try and spruce up the races, rather than be boring, one stops, but everyone just does the same strategy. Now, we're still expecting that here this weekend, but there is the theory that maybe the medium compound tyre will be used in qualifying because it is the soft compound tyre of last year. No one knows how this C6 tyre is going to work. Supposedly, it's around 2 to 3 tenths quicker than the soft, but how long will it last? Will it last a whole lap? Like, we know that these Pirelli tyres are very temperamental over the years, so... Working on cars is a very rewarding career choice. And that's what you want. You want something that is rewarding. You want something... Everyone wants, ultimately, a job that they enjoy. Because we spend most of our life... I know there's some kids in here. I'm calling you kids because you're under the age of 16. You're kids to me. You're not out into the real world yet. You spend the majority of your life in work and you want to... It's difficult, but if you can try and find a good balance where you enjoy your work, that is more than half the battle in life. And of course, earn a decent wage with it as well to enjoy the other things in life, the other nice things in life. Your prediction, Dusko, is Lando winning this one. He is faster than Piastri. Should have won last 2 races. Max will be good. Yeah, but I guess the thing is with Lando is that he hasn't been able to convert it. I mean, I have been backing Lando to my detriment in my fantasy team. But, yeah, I mean, Piastri really has come on leaps and bounds, isn't he, this year? He's progressed each year. He's been in F1. This is now his 3rd year. And the fact that he's overturned a 20-point deficit after the first race to now be leading by nearly that amount, that margin, after 6 rounds is tremendous. Absolutely brilliant. Hypersoft. Yeah, pretty much. Hypersoft, Ultrasoft. ST is Max... sorry, ST. I am ST. Is Max going to Aston? I mean, it's one of... I think it's either that or Mercedes. I don't see anywhere else that he goes to. I don't know who else can afford him either. And I don't know who else would look potentially that what's the right word? Enticing to him. I think Mercedes would probably be his first choice because Mercedes are already a top team. I know they're not obviously fighting for race wins at the moment, but they are already a top team, and there are rumours that they are on top of the engine that is going to be the new engine that is going to be playing a big factor in the new regs. So you'd want to go to Mercedes rather than the unknown of Aston. There's no guarantee that Newey is going to be able to work magic there. There's no guarantee that Honda are going to be able to provide a decent engine. But I don't know. I still feel like Max is going to be there till the end of 26. I don't think he's going to be there unless something catastrophic happens at Red Bull internally. I think Max will still be there to the end of 26 and he'll see maybe where his options lay. But then that's risky. That is very risky as well, because if it is Mercedes and Antonelli does very well and Russell does very well and they're clearly a cut above the rest, do they even want Max then? Do they just stick with Russell and Antonelli, or do they think about... I guess there's still the higher-ups. The higher-ups want Max though, isn't it? That's the difference. So loads of variables still at play. Any rain chances for this race? There was initially, Arnold, but not anymore. No, it doesn't look like there's going to be any rain here this weekend. It's been pushed out to... where's it been pushed out to? It's been pushed out to Tuesday. So it's getting further and further away. Lando is so consistent, he will dominate one weekend and struggle in the next. You mean inconsistent? He's too inconsistent. Yeah, no, Lando is very inconsistent at the moment, and that's his That's his problem. Have I seen the Mick Schumacher rumours for Cadillac seat? Yeah, I have. I have seen them. I mean, there's loads of drivers that are rumoured to be in the Cadillac seat. I think the problem for Cadillac is that they most likely would want to have an American driver in one of their seats, but there's no decent enough American drivers out there at the moment who could jump in that seat. You think there'd all be a very high risk. I've seen Colton Herta. He's been rumoured, but that's a very high risk coming from IndyCar. The only other one is that Ugo Uchiwoku. Probably butchered his name there, but he's in F3 this year. He's young. I think he's 17, 18 maybe. So maybe he's the driver they look towards in the future, maybe. But still a bit too early for him, maybe. For him, potentially. Heard a dirty rumour that you were not going to wear your Ferrari shirt this weekend. I may still do. I may do, if enough people want me to do it. I mean, I paid enough for it, Anne. Everyone forgot that Max has his contract with Red Bull till 28, but if Red Bull keeps failing... so the reason why there is to talk about Max leaving earlier, Speed, is that he has a clause in his contract where it's quite... it's reported by very highly regarded journalists from their sources in Red Bull that if he's not in the top 2 in the Drivers' Championship come the summer break, he will have basically... he's able to move as a free agent, or there'll be no... he can still hold on to his contract at Red Bull and see it out if he wants to, but there would be no fee for him that another team would have to pay. Now, of course, Max is contracted to 2028. He's on 50+ million a year. Paying out the remainder of Max's contract is a very high amount that Mercedes or Aston Martin probably don't even want to do, even with the money, but they've got behind them. So yeah. The rumour that Horner is going to be kicked out of the team, it said this in his last race. I think this rumour of Horner being kicked out of the team, I haven't seen it be reported by any of those journalists, those reputable journalists that I trust. It's come... the first of I saw of it gained traction on TikTok. I think someone has just started the rumour on TikTok and it's gained traction like it always does, or Reddit. So yeah, take that with a very big pinch of salt. With everything that Horner has been able to get through over the last couple of years, I don't see why now you would get rid of him, unless something dramatically relationship-wise has broken apart between the higher ups, between the tyre side of the company and Christian Horner. Then I don't see it. I don't see it happening. Will Cadillac be better than Haas? The latter obviously run things very well financially. I think it'd be a very tall order for Cadillac to come in and hit the ground running. They'll be towards the back, but who knows what these new regs are going to do. But should we have a look at some on-track action? I mean, there's not really been too much to discuss with the on-track action. The drivers obviously just trying to sort themselves out. We haven't really had any push laps yet. The teams are just trying to figure out what these tyres are able to do. As we mentioned, the C6 being used for the first time this season here at Imola. So George Russell, 116.599. Gasly, a 116.9 on the medium, which is the soft compound from last year. Antonelli, at his home race, he's able to go back and sleep in his own bed, he said, after race days. So he's still living in Italy, not too far down the road. Right, I want to see what the times were for last year. What was right? So last year, what was pole position of last year? So we've seen these cars be on average a second quicker, haven't we? Last year. So qualifying of last year was a 1:14.7. So we are nowhere near that at the moment. Q1, the fastest Q1 time of last year was a 15.7. So we're still a good margin away. But Max is going quickest in the first sector as he makes his way around the fast turn 9. Track limits, of course, need to be careful here. We've seen track limits violations through particularly turn 9 as he heads down into Acqua Minerale. Hard braking zone of turn 12 there. Then he makes his way up into the poxy chicane, I call it, of Variante Alta of 14 and 15. That's where we saw Charles Leclerc, Yuki Tsunoda in the past go off there. and ruin their race weekends. Verstappen, now as he heads down into what's the last corner? What are these corners called? I can't remember what the last two corners are called at 17 and 18. I can't remember what they're called. As full throttle to the finish line. He's green in the middle sector. Is it fastest lap for Max? It is not just about there. 25.898, but he is on par with George Russell. Interestingly, the Mercedes are quick at the moment in both sectors. Yuki Tsunoda is quite slow in that last sector, considerably slow in that last sector, to be honest with you. So that's why he's down in 8th. Charles Leclerc not looking. Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc maybe running a bit more fuel. Their first sector times are quite slow compared to everyone else. About 4 tenths, half a second off, 16th and 18th at the moment in the first sector as Sainz goes second fastest. So yeah, maybe the Ferrari's running a bit more higher fuel at the moment on lower battery mode, lower engine modes. Is the track going to cease being on F1 circuit in the future? I think so. Yeah. I mean, I like Imola as a circuit. I think it's a great driving circuit. It's not a very good race circuit. That's the problem. And I think we've got too many tracks now. I mean, Imola did a job, didn't it? It came in at a time, I think it was COVID, where it returned to the calendar to replace circuits that we couldn't travel to and race. And Imola has served its purpose, and I think now it's time to move on and go to another track. So, I mean, I'd much rather Spa be on... I mean, we've got 2 tracks in Italy already, which is Monza. So Monza deserves to stay. The historic reasons of Monza as well. Not to say Imola isn't historic, but you get better racing at Monza than you do here. So, yeah. I think they need to redo the track layout again because the modern layout doesn't really suit modern racing. Yeah, but I mean, it's always been... the Imola's always been like this, though. It never really always provided great racing. I think they need to redo the track. Sorry, I'm just repeating what you just said, Taco. Last year's race was good, though. Yeah, to an extent it was, but I mean, Lando was never, even if he caught Max, he was never going to overtake him. We saw drivers. We saw like 2 overtakes last year. You needed well over a second in tyre advantage to get past anyone down into turn 2. So yeah. Why are there any F1 races in Germany or France? Money. There isn't. So the reason why they stopped going to Germany is because Hockenheim and the Nürburgring, they couldn't afford the fees to host F1 races. They just weren't getting... There was quite a big drop-off when Vettel retired, when Rosberg retired, when Schumacher retired. Like, when all those drivers retired, as much as Nico Hülkenberg I like Hülkenberg, he doesn't have the same draw as those drivers, and they lost a lot of viewership, and yeah, they just weren't getting the turnout. Similar to France, I say similar to France. I think France. I mean, that track wasn't very good, was it? The Paul Ricard track. I wasn't a big fan of Paul Ricard, and yeah, it just all comes down to money again, pretty much. So. Surprisingly, Stroll's always done well here, has he? I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't really kept an eye on Lance Stroll too much. But right, we have drivers on fresh C6 tyres now. So let's see if we can get some push laps with 28 minutes remaining in this session. And no doubt we may not see it in this session. We may see it in the second one. But let's keep an eye on Oscar Piastri. He's on a push lap. I think he's on a push lap right now. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. But he's definitely... I didn't see if he had his DRS open down into turn 2. But as he makes his way through turn 5 and turn 6, very quick left, right there, down into the hairpin of turn 7. And what sector time does he do? 24.4. So, yeah, a couple of attempts off there. Couple of attempts off in that first sector, so not quite pushing it. Oscar Piastri, or maybe the engine mode isn't turned up, you know, higher fuel and so forth. F1 hates the French and the Germans. No comment, Max. What do I think of the Portugal and Russian tracks? I really like Portimao. Portimao is a great race circuit, as Piastri goes fastest in the middle sector, actually, by a tenth and a half. So maybe not pushing so quick in that first sector. Or maybe it's just a trait of the McLaren, you know. The McLaren we know isn't generally... They've been running more downforce than the other teams, yet they've still been a very quick car. So as he comes across the last line, and okay, so maybe that McLaren is actually... Maybe it's just not that quick in the first sector because that's where all the top speed is required. And we know the McLaren likes to run a bit more downforce, as we just mentioned. Interesting there, interesting. Hey Glenn, is there or has there been a Canadian GP? There will be at the start of June. I think it's the weekend that I come back off of holiday. So I've timed my holiday, guys, in between race weekends, but I can still provide these watch-alongs for you. I'm a big fan of Montreal as well. And I don't think Montreal has been renewed either. That's another track that's coming up to the end of its contract. So... Le Mans just isn't suitable for F1 cars. So, 15th of June it is, yeah. There you go, right in the middle of June. But thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. Over 1,000 viewers. If you can hit that like button, get this stream to 5. But let's get it over 5. Surely there's half of you in here that haven't hit the like button. And if you are yet to subscribe as well, you can hit the subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated. Trying to hit 45,000 subs. The dedication I have is huge respect. Thank you, Bedrock. Morning, Q-Storm. I love these watch-alongs, guys. I love these watch-alongs. I'm trying very hard. I'm trying very hard to try and make this full-time for you all. So I can bring more content and, yeah, do this full-time. Bring more content in the midweek for you all. The Canadian GP has been a thing since the late 60s, I want to say. It's been around for a very long time, yeah. Is it the 60s? I don't think the 60s, is it? 60s is a long time. But it's been around for like 30 years, I think. Does the streaming cause any friction with my work and domestic lives? So, work life, no. I'm currently on my lunch break. So, I would love to stream in the middle of the day because I think that just works well for me and like around family and so forth. But of course, I've got my normal day job. In the evening, it's tough to stream. Now we've changed everything around. I'm hoping that I'll get a bit more time to do some streams. Hey! Thank you, Fretterson. Thank you for renewing for the pit crew. 5 months now. Time flies. And thank you for the subs flying in as well. Much appreciated, guys. So, yeah. So... My day job stops me from putting out more content in the week. At the weekends, I'm very fortunate that my partner, my missus, like she supports this. She knows it's what I enjoy doing. We've had the discussion. I could quite easily be out on a golf course for 6 hours a day instead. So yeah, she supports this. She fully wants this to succeed, and yeah, it doesn't cause any friction there, thankfully. So yeah, she's really understanding, whereas some other people may not be so. What's my opinion on Hot Wheels times F1? I haven't seen them, to be honest. This is my lunch break. When do I eat? Oh, I've eaten already. I ate while I was working. Malaysia should be back on the calendar, guys. Agree. I do agree. Malaysia should be back on the calendar. The Gilles Villeneuve circuit's been used since 1978. Wow, that's been going longer than I expected. Well, that's even more of a point for it to stay on the calendar. I do like Circuit Villeneuve. I do like it. Mrs. Stuffeyy, she's the creative director. She is the creative director. She's my muse. These watch-along... credit where it's due, these watch-alongs would not exist without her. She suggested I do them. So, thank the missus, guys. Thank the missus. You hate the smaller... You hate the similar straights on Canada. I think the great thing about Canada is that the weather throws up some good racing. Of course, Piastri goes fastest again in... he's now gone fastest in the first sector. So, picking up the pace here on his second push lap, Piastri. Norris... starting a lap, I think. He got his first lap, his first push lap stuck. So Norris definitely on a push lap as well. So we'll keep an eye on him as he makes his way through turn 4, down into turn 5. Bit of a busy circuit out there at the moment. The two Haas's, by the way, at the bottom of your screens. Behrman needs a good qualifying here this weekend, doesn't he? He's been struggling over his single lap pace. And Piastri is about a tenth and a half down on his middle sector time there. So maybe a poor chicane for Piastri or an error somewhere on that second push lap. And it's not an improvement. He loses 3 tenths there on his previous push lap. As Lando Norris does go, he's not far off of his teammate, to be fair. He's half a tenth back off of Oscar in the first sector. And the second sector is, once again, you're talking a few hundredths of a second. So he's just under a tenth back of Oscar's fastest lap time as Hamilton goes third fastest there. Not bad from Lewis. Oh, less than a tenth back from the McLaren of Piastri. That's not too bad. Behrman up into P16. We'll keep an eye on Yuki as well. Yuki needs a good push lap, doesn't he? As Lando slots in. Yeah, about that. So he recovered a bit of time in the last sector, but overall... he is, you can see there, he's overall lost about a hundredth per sector on Piastri. Albon fastest in the first sector. Oof. Albon on form at the moment, Albon. Let's see how he gets on. And we'll keep an eye on Yuki as well, but he's going to hit a bit of traffic. 26.7, so he's had a slow middle sector there, Albon. I say he's slower. He's slower by... 0.05 of a second, guys. So still on course here to improve, Albon. Not to go to the top of the timing sheets, though, but definitely to potentially go ahead of his teammate, who is 3 tenths back in P6. Through the last corner, across the finish line. Oh, only up into P8 there. Interesting. So lost a bit of time as I'm watching Alex Albon now on the TV. And yeah, so the second sector is actually before the chicane. So if they're down in the second sector, then they're losing time all the way from, I think it is what, turn 6 to turn 13. So yeah, it looked like he wasn't. I mean, he was quick in the last sector, but not pushing so much so there. What's happened with Antonelli? He just hasn't done a proper push lap yet. Different run plan by the looks of it. George Russell doing... I didn't realise George Russell's done 14 laps on his set of Super Softs on the C6 tyres. So I'm calling them Super Softs because that's pretty much what they are. To be honest, I'm really surprised no F1 team has tried to break the lap record at Nords like Porsche did with the 919. I mean... I'm not sure they'd be able to do it. So I tried doing this, and many people tried to do it when the W12 came out. A lot of the... I don't think you'd be able to recover enough battery. I don't think you'd be able to cover enough of the battery to be quick enough in an F1 car. You'd have to raise the ride height so high as well because of how bumpy it is. And the tyres probably wouldn't last a single lap. So, why has Colapinto not come out for such a long time? I'm not entirely sure. Most likely making setup changes to the car, but he is out there on circuit now, you can see, on a set of brand new tyres, so we'll see how he gets on. Of course, Colapinto, his aim will be just to get somewhere close to Gasly, like what he did when he first jumped in that Williams last year. Get on the pace of his more experienced teammate, and Gasly is a very good benchmark for him. Now, he has only 5 races to do so, Colapinto, which I think is ridiculous, but they're clearly going for the money, aren't they? The Alpine team. How much time is left for FP1? You can see the top left-hand corner of your screen, 18.5 minutes remaining. But let's keep an eye on Sion, shall we? He's gone purple, like his teammate did in the first sector. So the Williams, interestingly, are first and second in the first sector. But then we have seen that Williams maybe running a little bit less downforce than others. Struggle a bit more in the middle sector. And yes, you see that there, a 26.794. And I think that's pretty similar, if memory serves me correctly, to what Albon did as well. So let's see how he deals with the last couple of corners. As Colapinto is starting his lap, but he's got a lot of traffic to contend with. As Yuki didn't improve, by the way. Oh no, Yuki, sorry, came into the pits Yuki came into the pits and they made a change somewhere. He's back out on the same set of tyres. So Sainz does improve a 16.7, but not by a lot. Yellow in the in the second and third sector. So losing some time over the duration of the lap there. Maybe too quick in the first sector, the Williams car, or maybe just where they need more downforce in the middle and last sector. That's why they're so much quicker in the first. Where is Colapinto? So Colapinto's backed out, it seems, already. Colapinto's backed out. So not good for the Argentinian. Maybe he's got enough time to do another lap for sure on this set of tyres. But quite busy out there. What time am I back for FP2? Yeah, FP2, guys, is... What time is FP2 again? I will tell you when... Because I've already got the stream set up. FP2 is starting 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock. How long has it been for Williams to actually be in this position before? What has been the highest points of the team so far? Well, they were, back in the 90s, they were world champions. But it's been a very long time since they've been fighting at the front. So this is the best they've been. This is the best they've been in a decade, I think. Got to be in a decade since Massa and Bottas. Since like what, 2015? Was that the last time they were up front, potentially getting podiums? But Lewis Hamilton, by the way, fastest in the first sector, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep an eye on Lewis. Can he improve? I think he's had to back out, Lewis, there. I think he caught Isaac Hadjar down into turn 12. And yes, Lewis has had to back out. So that's a shame for Lewis. Flying there. And unfortunately, he had to back out maybe due to some traffic. So that's the nature of this circuit, though. Imola, very busy. Very, very busy. Does he look comfortable? Yet to see really too much of his laps. Footage of him. But the lap times, the fact that he's even getting anywhere near purples, and he's towards the top of the FP1. That's the first time we've seen Ferrari anywhere near like this for some time. So looking good so far. It's a good start to their weekend. Having a good start to a weekend like this since the sprint race weekends. So Bottas came from Williams to Mercedes as a team, ended in P3 or P4 in Constructors. Yes, it's been a while since Williams have even been anywhere near podiums, let alone race wins. So, you think now with the safety being so good, tracks like Imola, Monza and other tracks should remove the chicanes, which were placed in the 70s when carbon didn't even exist? The problem is, if you remove the chicanes, then you've got very, very little... You've got... well... Maybe you could. I was thinking maybe you could. The only problem is that then the speed heading down from turn 12 all the way down to turn 17. Like if someone goes off and there's contact, I know there's gravel. Like you're going into that barrier at very, very high speeds downhill as well. So I think the problem that F1 has at a lot of circuits is that there's not enough hard braking zones. That's the problem. So we get... I'm all for like fast free-flowing circuits, but you look at Silverstone, there's a balance of fast free-flowing corners, but enough enough harsh braking zones that there's opportunities for overtakes. Whereas if you remove those opportunities, then you're just going to get boring processions, even more so boring processions. But I don't know. I just think Imola has never really been that good of a track. It's been a great qualifying track, but it's not really ever provided great racing. So, the track has small curbs where the most is needed is exits. That's a lot. The track has small curbs where the most is needed in exits. What's the logic? Would I see Hockenheim back on the calendar? I would. That back straight, in my opinion, needs to have no chicane and have DRS. Yeah, I think they'd say it purely for safety reasons, though, wouldn't they? But yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like Imola needs another overtaking opportunity, doesn't it? Because the straight from turn 12 to turn 14 is just not... It's just not enough. But they just don't get enough of a drive out of turn 12, even if a driver makes a mistake, to really get sufficiently... Like, and especially with overtaking rules now and stuff, like with how you need to be given room and so forth. Yeah. After last Miami race, I don't see any other team winning the World Constructors this year than McLaren. Verstappen held the McLaren behind for 20 laps and they passed after they drove. Yeah, at the moment, I mean, there's a very long way. The reason why I agree with you, Renz, why I think it's McLaren's, is purely because I don't see the other teams investing enough in their development for this season. If we were in if it was last year and we're at this point, I would say it's still not over. But because a lot of teams are going to put most of their eggs in the 26 basket, some already have, they're not going to... Why are they going to put a lot more time and effort into this year's car when like it's just not... There's already too big of a gap to close down upon. We're at the DRS zones. There's one DRS zone here, Lee. That is the... Well, I say start-finish straight. It's not really a straight, is it? It's from just after turn 18, in between turn 18 and 19, down to turn 2. That's it. Oh, watching Alex Albon having a snap of oversteer there. He got over the curb. And as he came, he just rode the curb too much into turn 1. And the car really unsettled itself. And he went over through the gravel there. Alex Albon, a bit of excursion for him. What else am I watching here? Charles Leclerc, what happened to him for the chicane? The chicane that he's had issues at before, remember? Dipping a wheel on the gravel, so Charles Leclerc pushing that Ferrari hard at the moment. Only P12 though, compared to Lewis, who is P5. So Lewis did have his push lap held up by Isaac Hadjar. So Red Bull is still a team of one when the constructors is mentioned. Yeah, and that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. Is Monza removing at least one chicane? No, I don't think Monza ever will. So watching Alex Albon again through the last couple of corners. What did he do? Dip a wheel on the gravel, probably? Oh, yeah. That Williams, it's quick in a straight line, you know. They've set that car up, I think, to be quick in a straight line, particularly where the main overtaking opportunity is. But they seem to be struggling in the middle and last sector, especially for the last couple of corners, so... 2012 Manolo won in a Williams and hadn't won since 2004. And that's the last time they won a race, wasn't it? 2012? Yeah, they definitely haven't won anything since then. They had a great opportunity at Silverstone that year when Massa and Bottas got out up front, but they decided not to swap the two drivers around when I think it was Massa was going considerably quicker. So, yeah, and eventually the Mercedes comfortably dispatched them. You hope Lewis doesn't change the setup he's running with now. I agree, Giovanni. Don't tamper with it, Lewis. You potentially have got a nice thing going right now. Hopefully we don't see him struggle in FP2 like he tends to do. Were Williams were quick in the race, yeah. Sim Magic or Moza? I can't comment on that, Nate, to be honest with you, because I haven't used either. Well, the only Moza wheel I've used I wasn't particularly impressed with, but that was very entry level. That was like their cheapest wheelbase. But I've heard good things about both of them, to be honest with you. But VRS is where you can, is what I'd recommend. They've got new products out, which I'm yet to test. So I can't comment on the new products, but they are more affordable than the wheelbase and wheel that I've got at the moment because it's 20 Newton meters. And the new one is 15 or 12. Is it 12 or 15? I think it's 15 Newton meters. So, and the wheel is more affordable as well. Remember, guys, we're still 1.8 seconds down on last year's pole lap. That is true as well, Speed. Yes, you are very true there. So, yeah, the top 5 are separated by less than a tenth at the moment, but we are nowhere near the lap time of last year. Now, also, this could also be due to the C6 tyre. Remember, this is a tyre that the teams are... This is their first data gathering of this tyre. And it may not last a whole lap here. It may be that, okay, we have to be a bit easier in the first sector, and then we can lean on it in the second and third sector. Or... it could be that the medium compound, which is the soft of last year, is actually just the overall better qualifying tyre. However, what you're then doing, though, is that when it comes to the race on Sunday, you're leaving yourself open. You at least want to make sure that you've got one of those new mediums available, you would suspect, because it is always a one-stopper here. As I mentioned earlier on, guys, if you're just tuning into the channel, or didn't tune in earlier on, Imola is very unique when it comes to strategy because it has the longest pit stop loss time on the calendar. It's pushing 30 seconds. So what that does is that at a track that's very difficult to overtake, making a second pit stop, it doesn't, making up that timeout on track where it's tough to overtake, just isn't really feasible. You don't want to give up that lap time. So under green flag conditions, it's always going to be a one-stop strategy. And that's where it could provide us some potential scenarios on Sunday, because drivers may have to look after their tyres, and we get some. We've already seen some teams are better on their tyres than others, mostly McLaren over everyone else, and that can play a factor in overtakes. But we'll see. We'll see. In order to keep watching this stream, you must hit that like button. Yes, thank you guys. Thank you for everyone who keeps tuning into these streams as always. We've got a busy 3 weeks ahead of us. This is the first of a triple header. We've got Imola here this weekend. Then we head to Monaco, where there is a mandatory 2-stop for next week. And then we have Barcelona. And then we have a week's break. And then we head to Canada. Does the FIA allocate what compound tyres are used for each track, or is it Pirelli? I think it's primarily Pirelli with the approval of the FIA. So they kind of work hand in hand. But yeah, mostly Pirelli make that decision, I think. They're the specialists. They're the ones who decide. They have the data. And then no doubt they present that to the FIA and make sure everything's okay, safety-wise and so forth. And yeah. So I'm just watching Lewis now. What's he doing? What's happening with Lewis? Oh, God. Who was that? Was that Hadjar or was that Lawson? One of the RB cars just pulled in front of Lewis Hamilton and like kind of slammed on his brakes to allow one of the fast-moving Red Bull through. And Lewis nearly went into the back of him. And he was like, Jesus, he just brake tested me. What is the chance Hamilton will finish the season at Ferrari with the results? The first races. Yeah, Lewis is there for at least another year. He's got a 2+2 year contract. So, what do I mean by mandatory 2-stop, Mystic? So they have to make 2 stops in Monaco. So in each race, you have to, well, you mandatory have to change tyre compounds at least once. Now, that can come in the form of a red flag like we saw last year in Monaco. But to try and combat, of course, the boring nature of Monaco, they're adding an extra pit stop that you have to make. So you have to change. You have to make 2 mandatory pit stops. Now, I'm not sure if that's 2 mandatory tyre changes, so you don't have to use every compound of tyre, but it is 2 pit stops that have to be made. They're unused mediums. Is it from the previous race? No, it'll be from this race, so they would have, some of them just done more laps than others at the moment. Anything exciting happened? No, nothing exciting has happened in this session. The McLarens look quick, as always, but you're looking at signs there. The Williams look pretty much best of the rest at the moment. What we've seen is the drivers try and find out what this C6 tyre is doing. We are still over a second back from last year's pole position, which was a 15.4. So 16.5 is not quick. We do expect to see lap times get quicker than that. I would suspect they are. As Max is not happy with his car. He's banging the wheel. Max not happy with his car. So Lewis has got a contract for next year. Basically, a regular pit stop and a drive-through. Kind of, yeah. I mean, they'll probably have to make a. I think, no doubt, it probably means that they have to change tyres. So, Lawson trying to chase Piastri. So no one out there at the moment, I think, is on a push lap. We've just seen those. Everyone out there now just running their laps, trying to gather some data. No doubt. But interesting that the top 5 are separated by less than a second. How much we can read into that, I still don't think we can read too much into that. But FP2 will be a bit more of a relative, as always. It is a relative session to qualifying because it is going to be a later session, just like qualifying is on the Saturday. So that's definitely one you guys want to tune in for. I have the stream set up for that already, so you can head over there, hit the like button, and leave that open in your browser, or hit the notification, guys. Hit that notification bell to be notified of when I am going to go live. I think there should be 2 pit stops on all 3 tyre compounds used with a maximum minimum number of laps. Yeah, I'll have a look into this, Richard. I can't remember exactly the details behind it. I don't think there's a all 3 compounds rule that is in use. I think it's just 2 mandatory pit stops, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong. Top 18 under a second separation. That is very true. That is very true. So yeah, let's have a check through these with 2.5 minutes. Oh, it's a yellow flag. It's Bortoletto at the end here. I think has gone off. Bortoletto, has he lost control of the car into turn 18? Now, we do see drivers dip a wheel in the gravel, and yes, we have a red flag with 2 minutes remaining in this session. That will not be FP1 getting back underway, but Bortoletto has lost control of his stake F1 car, his Sauber car, whichever you refer that team as now, and has gone into the wall. But how has he gone into the wall? Has he dipped a wheel there and gone off into the left-hand side, as we see quite often? Or is it that he's just had an issue and he's run off and, whoa, dearie me. So he's gone straight into the wall there. I'm just looking at the TV coverage and he's lost his front wing. It does seem like the car on the side is intact. But where? I'm still, from this angle, struggling to see what has happened. He says he's okay. Looks to be a pretty straight-on impact. So, what has happened there? What has he done? He got kicked in the... Trying to still see a replay. I'm not sure why they're not showing a replay yet. Thank you for the subs, by the way. Much appreciated. It's a really weird angle that he's gone in at. Here we go. Right, so watching the replay now. So he's heading down into turn 17. So he comes down into that corner. Turn 8. Oh my goodness. The rear snaps on him on turning. That's very bizarre. So it's not even the exit of turn 18 that he has had that crash. He's over the curb, as they all are, entering turn 18, and the rear snaps on him, overlapping the throttle and the brake, maybe? I don't know. I mean, unless something fundamentally has gone wrong on the rear of that car, it's got to be a driver error, but that's a very odd one. That's a very odd crash. So... the timer doesn't stop in FP sessions. No. Unlike it does in qualifying, it does stop. In FP sessions, it does run down. And that is why that very late crash there from Gabriel Bortoletto has brought out the red flag. He is okay. The car is pretty much intact. It was kind of just a very slow impact through the gravel, straight on into the tyre barriers. So he has got, so he has ended up with just front wing damage, so that'll be okay for him to get out in FP2 and continue his weekend. But yeah, very uneventful session, really, to be honest with you. Oscar Piastri P1, Lando Norris P2, Sainz 3rd, Russell 4th, Hamilton 5th. The top 5 separated by no more than a second, but we are still 1 second behind pole positions lap of last year, and we know these cars are easily quicker than last year's cars, so expect lap times and maybe the gaps to shuffle up a bit as the weekend progresses. Gasly in P6, of course, trying to put to bed all of the issues off track that Alpine have had. He is there ahead of Max Verstappen in P7, who was banging his steering wheel with his hand. Not happy with that Red Bull, it seems. Alex Albon in P8. Bortoletto, we just saw crash there. I didn't realise that the 2 Stake F1 cars were 9th and 10th there. So they're started off this weekend pretty well, apart from the end of the session there with Bortoletto. Lance Stroll, who has updates to his car here this weekend, where Alonso doesn't, is in P11. Charles Leclerc in P12, struggling a little bit, it seems, but maybe not running a higher engine mode, battery mode, etc. Many reasons why he could be down there in P12. Antonelli, similarly, I think he's pushed laps, got interrupted by traffic, so that's why he's down in 13th. Alonso in 14th. Lawson 15th. Sonoda struggling in that Red Bull car behind Liam Lawson at the moment in 16th. A track that he's very comfortable at, Yuki Tsunoda, and has gone well here in the past, as it was and was AlphaTauri's home circuit, where they did a considerable amount of testing at. Conor Pinto, he's returned to F1 here in P17, so not the best starts for him in FP1, but He's not in the wall, unlike Bortoleto, so that's a positive. Behrman in 18th, Hadjar 19th, and Ocon 20th. So work to be done for the Haas and RB drivers, as well as Yuki Tsunoda. And that is it, guys. I have to go back to work. I can't stick around, unfortunately, and chat too much longer. I will be back in a few hours' time for FP2, though. So head over to the stream there, hit the like and subscribe button, guys. Big thank you, as always. And yes, we will see you in a few hours' time. Cheers, guys. Bye.